Alright, everybody, to my channel again. I'm going to try to get things rolling for the 2021 spring turkey season. I had a good 2020 season for the most part. Unfortunately, COVID kind of got in the way of a couple of the states I wanted to go to. But I still ended up doing pretty well, considering. I got a bird in Mississippi, first day. And second, I got a bird in West Virginia and a bird in Pennsylvania, and one in South Carolina, where I live, and got a big fat goose egg in Georgia. Waiting for a lack of trying, but I got close in Georgia. But the place I hunt there, there's a little bit of an off year. Maybe I was a little bit late in the season as well. At least that's kind of what I'm telling myself. So unfortunately, Georgia didn't go the way it usually goes. Usually that place is either rocking with birds or they're a little bit hard to find, and it's real kind of off and on like that. So this last year wasn't one of those years. It was one of those years they didn't really doing all that well. So this is kind of a recap of 2020, kind of what I did, how I planned it. I planned to hit several states. Also wanted to hit North Carolina and Virginia on top of West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Mississippi. Oh, I did hunt Alabama too. Forgot about that. Struck big goose egg in Alabama for the second year in a row. Alabama's proven to be difficult. I went up to the mountains to the Chattahoochee National Forest area where a lot of people go, and that place was packed. And I don't know if it was because it was COVID and everybody was off work or what, but practically every gate in the northern part of the Chattahoochee National Forest had a hunter or a truck sitting at it. And common courtesy says kind of move on, try to find a gate that doesn't have anybody. But there's probably a reason there's not a truck at those gates if you haven't done a ton of scouting up there. So I heard some. I finally talked to a local guy who had some National Forest land that bordered his private land, and he was pretty helpful. And so I got pretty close to some birds there. That's probably, if I was to go, that's probably where I'd go back. But it was a little bit hard to find, not split up amongst private land. I even saw the hunting public guys at the same location. Actually, apparently they had talked to the same landowner a day or two prior to me. Real nice fella. And that's usually how it goes. Most people are pretty nice. So I continue to see the hunting public guys a couple more times driving around. If you watch their videos, they were really concerned about COVID and not getting close to anybody. At the time, COVID was a big unknown. I understand still. It seems to be spreading far worse now here in what is today? January 11th of 2021. Seems to be pretty bad at the moment. I'm hoping things will subside by late April, May, when I really plan to travel to certain states. And so going back to Alabama, that was a big strikeout. But then I was over Mississippi just before that, and I got a bird the first day. But that, I think I've mentioned possibly in my other videos, is that what I try to do, if at all possible, is get a quota hunt, quota permit, or special opportunity quota hunt, like in Florida. So in that particular case, I got a quota permit for Upper Sardis WMA, and I just did some virtual scouting, and it worked out pretty good. Obviously, I got one the first day. I spotted a few hens first thing in the morning. I couldn't find the gobbler there. I moved down a little ways from there into an open field where I saw more hens, and it's actually like a small food plot. And so I kind of went around on them trying to see if there was a gobbler with them, and there wasn't. And those hens actually ended up getting spooked and actually ran to me once I was already kind of set up and waiting, and no gobbler was with them. But then shortly after that, probably not even an hour later, I heard a gobble. I finally got one to gobble, and he gobbled hard, and he was coming. He was kind of coming the way the hens went. So the hens went that way. He was coming back from where they came in or left. And so I turned around on my tree, and I have a video on that. It tells you all about it. And actually another gobbler snuck in on my right, and shot him instead, because he gave me a good shot, and I'm gonna take the best one I can get, the best shot I can get. So Mississippi was good. I got to hunt with my buddy who lives in Tennessee as well on some national forest land in Mississippi, north of Upper Sardis, and that was fun. Always fun to hang out, to hunt with buddies and friends, and he and I have hunted together before in Wyoming, South Dakota, years ago, and well, of course in Tennessee too. A couple years ago, I hunted with him. I got my Tennessee bird with him. So that was one thing. So after that, after Alabama, Mississippi, I went back to South Carolina, hunted my birds here in my hunt club where I'm at currently. This is a lease. It has approximately 3,600 acres at the moment. That changes depending on the timber company. They sell off some land or not. But this place is usually really good. I only got one bird last year, which is a bit of an anomaly for me. But I was also helping people hunt more than I usually do, which I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping other members get a bird or learn how to turkey hunt, and so that's a lot of fun in itself. So it doesn't really matter to me as much. I like to get one bird if at all possible, which I did. So, and I had other chances too, and I missed a couple times. I missed too. If you turkey hunt long enough, you will miss. And typically it's when they're moving. I can't seem to shoot them when they're moving at all, hardly. Well, they're moving fast. I mean, walking, I could probably get a good shot on them. But when they're moving with purpose or whatever, flying away or something crazy like that, it's a lot harder. At least I can't seem to figure it out. And so I had my opportunities. I could have tagged out, because like previous 2 years before, 2018, 2019, I tagged out here. So I got birds, and we started trapping. I started it. I've been wanting to trap here for years. I've been in this club for 10 years. And past officers who were our presidents, like, no, don't. We don't need to trap. We got plenty of turkeys. Well, not so. Not really. Like pretty much everywhere, like in the Southeast, we're seeing a decline in turkey populations. The Pinhoti Project just posted about that on his Instagram page, Dave Owens. So, and I think a lot of it is at least something you can do that will make a positive impact on the turkey population is trapping. So I started trapping 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I barely knew what I was doing. I only did it for a couple weeks. And, I caught 13 coons and about 10 possums, something like that. It wasn't much. But last year I stepped it up and started earlier, because trapping season here in South Carolina starts December 1st. Of course, everybody's deer hunting till January 1st and even beyond for Youth Day. So I don't trap in December. And I've waited till basically February the past 2 years to start trapping. Well, I started January 2nd or 3rd this year. Or was it the 4th? A little bit, but early January, so about 4 weeks earlier than I normally do. And so my goal is to trap about 70 raccoons and 50 or 60 possums if possible. But raccoons are the primary target. So last year I got 33 coons and 28 possums, I think it was. So I'm shooting. Hopefully I can at least double those numbers. And I started off, had a good start. And so I've basically been doing it for about a week now. We got 18 coons and 6 possums, I think. But I've gotten a big fat goose egg today and yesterday. So, I don't know what happens. And, well, they can they're little robbers. They'll rob your traps too. So I'll get them eventually, especially if you can tell they've been there and they've ate some of the food out of the trap, or from, well, I put a little bit out around it too, and it gives you an idea if they've been there or not. I actually had one get away with a trap on his foot. I guess the cable I put around the tree didn't do its thing. I actually used an earth anchor cable. I guess it was somehow not secured well enough. So I'm using like baling wire. I think that's better. It's no less likely of the less likelihood of the earth anchor part of it slipping through the loop on those type of anchors. Because doing earth anchors is a pain. It's kind of a pain to put them in the ground every time. So I do it a little bit lazier way of doing it, which is wrapping them around a tree. It works, you know, especially if you find a game trail and you put it right on, you know, and just usually a tree right there next to a game trail, and you put it right there, you're more likely going to catch them. Or you put them next to feeders, or where people have had corn piles throughout deer season. Like there's a corn pile on where one of my traps is, and I think I trapped five coons, one a day, one every day for like 5 days straight. But the past 2 days has been blank. But somebody just poured a bunch of corn on it yesterday, I think, probably for hogs, for hog hunting. So that'll bring the coons back. I'll catch some more there, I'm sure. But in other places that were really good last year haven't produced much yet, if anything, but they probably will. So I'm a big proponent of or advocate for trapping. I think it works, and I'm hoping to see more and more. I'm hoping to see the turkey population do better and better as the years go by. I'm the one that spearheads all the trapping here in the club. Try to get some people to help, because it takes at least an hour and a half to check them all, and I got to do it every day. So it's time consuming to say the least, and a good bit of effort on my part. I mean, my camper is sometimes out here, so I can hang out here if I want, but luckily I don't live too far away, so I can get here. So jump real quick to what I did in West Virginia. So West Virginia, I was planning on hunting public land, which is what I did initially. But I had my camper with me that time. When I was in Alabama and Mississippi, I just had a tent because I was renting this camper out, unfortunately, because it ended up pouring on me just about every night in Mississippi and Alabama, and it was horrible. You know, tent camping is no fun when it's like that. I mean, like major thunderstorms. So when you have a camper like this and you gotta camp in that kind of weather, it's tough. But I had my camper by that point, and I blocked it off so nobody could rent it. Went out to West Virginia, hunted public land. Didn't have any luck there. But what I did is another tip for people who are looking for places to camp. There's a thing called hipcamp.com. So it's a website where you can go to, and people will let you basically camp on their property, private property. That's usually what it is. And some of them have hookups for campers, some don't. Some it's pretty primitive. Just have a place to park your camper or tent, if you have a tent. You know, it's like I've discussed in the past, I don't really want to sleep in the back of my truck like others do. And, you know, all the power to you. I'm a little bit older than those folks, so I'd like to have a comfortable bed if at all possible. Even though I guess you can make it pretty comfortable in the back of a truck as well, but you just don't have the space. And so it's a little more of a logistics effort, no doubt, too, with a camper. It seems to be working out pretty good so far. I guess it's one of the big advantages of sleeping out of the back of your truck, is you can move around a lot quicker, and your bed goes with you wherever you're hunting. And yeah, there's advantage there. That's probably the only advantage I can think of. You're gonna be far more comfortable, have more amenities and everything within a camper. And this is not a huge camper; it's only 20 feet, but it provides everything you'd want. It has everything the big ones have. And so anyway, that's how I'm choosing to do it right now. So HipCamp is one way of doing it. And I ended up actually being able to hunt that private land by asking the landowner. And because wouldn't you know it, the birds went on the public side. His land actually butted up to the public, and so I went on public first. And what do you know? All the birds were back on private on his land and an adjacent property. So I had to pull those birds over to his property, and it worked the final morning. Called in four gobblers. It was a real pretty sight. So I was happy to get that accomplished there. And if it wasn't for the private land, I don't know if or permission, I probably wouldn't have made it. Probably wouldn't have happened. Because I looked all over the place in the public, and it was not happening. I mean, I kind of got close one time. I think I bumped a bird just walking through the mountains. And that's another thing. That's really hard to do. I'm not as good a shape as I should be, probably, when it comes to running mountains and running the ridge lines. That's another thing about northern Alabama. Same deal. That's tough. So then I moved on to Pennsylvania after that, and I was trying to hunt public land there too. Basically, they're WMA type land, what they call game lands, Pennsylvania game lands, in the southwest corner of Pennsylvania. And, you know, another tip too is, you know, it's not just public game lands or WMAs that you can hunt. There's also state parks, you know, keep state parks in mind, because that's actually, you know, a lot of them you can hunt. Public is allowed to hunt. So that's actually what it ended up doing, and that's where I got my bird. Got some help from Ted Kramer, Kramer Custom Calls. That's the mouth calls I use. Real good guy. We met up one day, and we just kind of drove around through the game lands. As we were driving into the game lands and actually coming out on private, we saw some birds, and it was actually the first Pennsylvania bird I heard gobble, because I'd hunted public basically the 2 days prior to that and had no luck. I'd saw a couple, but no luck getting the gobble or anything. So we saw it, and luckily those birds crossed the road over into public right there, and we watched them, and I was there waiting in the morning. They came back exactly the way they went in. And I was right there on that path and let it fly. Like before 6 o'clock in the morning, it was still fairly dark. Could barely make them out. And it was a big old blast, just like Shane Simpson just recently posted on one of his videos. The muzzle blast, that when it's still pretty dark outside, or just barely daylight outside, is pretty amazing. So Pennsylvania worked out real well. Got pretty cold, but after that, you know, that was pretty much the end of my turkey season for 2020. I was pretty happy with that. So, you know, so tips are, you know, again, try to do permit hunts if you can, or quota hunts on public land. Don't forget about state parks and, you know, other places where public land may be. And, you know, OnX is really good. Tells you about all that stuff. A lot of people use OnX. You know, the hunting public people do. Shane Simpson does. I'm not sure what Dave Owens uses. He does something like that too. He's always dropping pins. And so that's what I'll be doing. So next up, I'll have a video kind of about detailing what my itinerary is, essentially. My plan is for 2021 spring season. I was looking at it last night. Also got a drone. So look, all the cool YouTube channels have a drone for cool aerial footage. So I will be no different. Be kind of cool to have, you know, just kind of get a good drone shot of the terrain you're at. Usually don't see that with the turkey channel, so at least I don't think I've ever seen it. But, you know, I guess maybe it gives away too much, maybe. Again, I'm not that worried about that. I'm here to kind of help people, because, you know, I'm trying to do my US Super Slam like a lot of other people are, and I want to help folks out if I can, and that's kind of one of the main purposes of this video, or this channel. You know, the other reason is kind of chronicle my adventures, so I can look back on, or my family can look back on if they want. Unfortunately, not too many of them are into turkey hunting. So, wish they were. So, you know, guess that's about it. Well, like I said, the next video will be my 2021 plans, and I think I may be able to piece together some video from my Alabama hunt, in the northern Alabama part, and I don't think I have much of anything about Pennsylvania or West Virginia. I was still trying to figure out my gun camera. I got a Tacticam and still I messed that up a couple different times, and I'm hoping to finally get all that figured out. I got a tripod, my Tacticam, got a drone. Even though I'm not gonna be using the drone while I'm hunting, of course. That would be too hard. It'd be kind of cool though, if I could figure that out, or I'd have somebody else flying it. Probably scare turkeys, I bet. But I'm gonna try hard to get some video footage. But you know, check my Instagram page too. It's _ ricochet JP _ that's my Instagram page, where I'll put Instagram videos and things like that as well, updates. So check that out as well. And till next time, y'all take care. Thanks.